Good morning. A little later than planned, but we had some glitches, but we're okay now.
We did.
We did, but we're all right. I'm really excited today, everybody, to speak to Lisa. Lisa is not only an amazing human, but very talented relationship coach. From my perspective, and I'm going to let Lisa say what she wants to say about herself, but from my perspective, Lisa's passion for what she does shines through more than anything else, and the depth of the connection that Lisa can make is greater than a lot of people can manage. So Lisa connects really well on a spiritual basis as well. So Lisa's very connected to herself and wants other people to be able to do the same and talk about the things that matter. Isn't that right, Lisa?
Absolutely. I have started my coaching business with the intention that we are going to get down and dirty on the nitty-gritty subjects that people don't talk about enough. Yeah.
Hoorah! I will drink my coffee to that. So Lisa and I chatted a few weeks ago about, oh my gosh, where would you start? What would you talk about? Because there's so much that Lisa covers in her work, you know, and when you think of relationship coach, you think of the relationship between two people, don't you? You don't quite often will just associate the relationship between two individuals. But it runs so much deeper than that. And with the underlying theme of this this podcast, this live series being about mental health, it's really important when you're considering relationships that they directly have an impact. Any kind of relationship has an impact, both either positively or negatively on mental health. But none more so than the relationship you have with yourself.
Yeah,
Don't you
that's
think,
right.
Lisa?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything, whether it's a relationship with your family, with your partner, with a work colleague, everything really always comes down to the relationship with the self, how you view yourself, your role in society, your role within all these different situations, and your self-image. And it usually boils down to self-confidence and self-love as well. So that is a really big part of my work and part of my job, which I am very passionate about and which I care very deeply about.
Yeah, and that ties nicely back to what I said earlier about the depth that you actually display when you work with people, like the being able to connect on a deeper level and just saying, have you tried this breathing technique, or have you tried this, or you know, it runs so much deeper than that, doesn't it? And I know that one of the subjects that you do feel passionately about is the connection with your body postpartum and after having babies. Like, it got me, after our conversation, it got me thinking about your relationship once you've had a baby. Like, it's such a big journey, isn't it, having a baby? And your body, from the moment that you conceive, your body's changing, and I don't think you feel the same about your body ever again once you've become pregnant or had a child. I think regardless of what happens to your body, how it changes physically from what you can see, your relationship, your actual relationship with your body is never the same again. And that's not necessarily negative either. That can be, like, you know, such a positive experience. I mean, crikey Moses, a body creates another entirely new person. That's just mind blowing to begin with, isn't it? But for you to feel exactly the same way about your body after you've had a baby as how you felt about it beforehand, I don't think for anybody that's going to be the case. Do you?
No, the one thing we always have to keep in mind is our bodies are absolutely incredible. They produce this amazing human being. They house it for 9 months. They nurture this baby. and our bodies are wonderful. But the one thing I think is very, very under talked about is the impact that pregnancy and childbirth have on our bodies afterwards. And the focus is always you're going to have this beautiful newborn baby that you're going to love and adore, and you're going to have this most amazing experience. But with the best will in the world, I do think that we're not really prepared for what happens afterwards. And what comes afterwards can be quite a shock to a lot of people. I know that when I had my third baby, he was born very, very quickly, and I just was not prepared for what happened afterwards. And the emotional impact that it had on my life was enormous. And there are so many women out there that they have their babies and they're expected to go home, be strong, and be amazing mums. And who actually tells them what's coming? And for a lot of people, their bodies do bounce back, especially when they're on the younger side. But what tends to happen is after your second or third child, the body does become different and it has to make enormous changes to accommodate these beautiful human beings. And that can be a very big shock to some people. So I think the more that we talk about these issues, the more that we get rid of the taboos about these issues, the better. And the more prepared a woman is before she has the baby, you know, it can't be a bad thing talking about this. It's got to be beneficial to people.
Absolutely, and I think you bang on the money when you say about you're not prepared for it. Like you go to all these classes and whatnot, you know, prenatal stuff, and they talk about birth and all of those things, but no one who actually sits down and says, are you prepared for the changes, both mentally and physically? And don't forget, in the first few months after, people talk about postpartum depression.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not enough talked about either. But even with family members, even with your own mum or your own daughters, for people who've got daughters who've had children, it's not, even with the closest of relationships, it's still a funny subject to, because no one actually knows what's going to happen until
No,
it does.
no, absolutely. It can go so many different ways. You can have a very healthy pregnancy. Lots of ladies do bounce back very quickly. Their bodies go roughly to how they were before. You know, there are going to be stretch marks. It's inevitable. Our bodies expand over those 9 months. But some ladies do have an amazing recovery. I don't want to scare people into thinking I don't want to have a child because my body's just going to be not the same anymore. It's not the same. And there are so many different ways it could go, like you say. It's the unknown, really, isn't it? If somebody had have sat me down and said, Lisa, this may happen, A, B, C, D, at least you'd have been prepared. At least if it did happen, you could think, oh, actually, I'm not on my own. There are people that this happens to, things like stretching, prolapses that happen. It's quite highly likely that it can happen to you at some point if you have more than one child. Things like hemorrhoids in the body, pubic symphysis, which happens to a lot of ladies, diabetes during the pregnancy, all of these medical conditions. And I just don't think it's we're not prepared enough. We tend to fluff over things when we go for our antenatal classes. And I think they try to get you so enthused about this newborn child that you're going to have that the other things are almost kind of pushed aside as if, well, something might happen, but it's not as amazing as this baby that you're going to be holding. And actually, for our mental health, this is mega important and we need to talk about it more. We absolutely need to keep talking, tell our children, be open and have frank, honest conversations about what our bodies might look like and might feel like after this new arrival. Because we're trying to deal with things like breastfeeding, nurturing, we're doing our jobs. We might be holding a job down while we're having this newborn as well. Many people go back to work. And these are issues that affect our work, they affect our relationships, they affect our self-esteem, and they affect our partnerships and our sex lives as well. So the more we're armed with this information, the better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think sometimes you don't know that it's okay to ask because you don't know what's normal and what's not normal. And, you know, that it's that feeling of, oh God, should I be feeling like this? You know, or I remember for me, when I had my second, I had, I breastfed him initially, but I had, and I didn't even know at the time it was a thing. And this is the exact example of what you're saying. So every time I breastfed my youngest, I felt sick.
Mm.
I felt physically sick to my stomach. The like as soon as I knew that I needed to feed him, uh, just this feeling of sickness came, and you feel like a letdown. You feel like, you know, why do I feel like this? This is one of the most natural things in the world to do.
Yeah.
Why? I now know that it's an actual condition
Yeah.
and it's all to do with hormones and everything else, but I didn't know that at the time. So for me, it was like, why is my body not working properly? Why am I getting signals to feel sick when you know, I'm doing one of the most natural things in the world?
Yeah.
And I didn't even know to talk about it to anyone, you know.
Yeah.
So it's encouraging people to, if you're unsure or it doesn't, you know, you feel like it's making you sad, then it's fine to talk about all of these things.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many emotions that come along with these changes: guilt, shame, embarrassment, anxiety. And, you know, people can go for long periods of time, I'm talking years, before they even get to talk to somebody about this and realize actually what I'm going through, it's perfectly normal. There are many, many people experiencing the same thing. But women go for years and they let the problem go. And this is the problem with it. The longer you go, the longer you wait to talk to somebody, the problem then escalates and our bodies become, you know, how can I say it?
I'll
The,
just
the,
say this.
the situation can get worse. And if we don't talk about it, we end up in a real pickle thinking, oh my goodness, I started out sneezing and, you know, weeing a little bit when I sneeze. Now, when I just cough and everything, a whole hurricane comes out. Where did that come from? And these problems can actually be treated. There are many therapies out there for ladies who've had a baby and end up with these situations. There are therapies, there are treatments out there. There is help there, but we need to talk up. We need to stop feeling the shame. We need to stop the embarrassment, and we need to stop thinking it's our fault, because it's not our fault. We've done our part. We've had this baby. And now it's time for us to take some therapy and some care and some love and sort it out. Because I waited, my youngest is 14 now, and I ended up with quite a few conditions after I gave birth. I ended up with a uterus prolapse, and I didn't know what it was. I just found myself one day, I think I was doing some dancing at school. I was a teacher at the time, and I was dancing and I felt this just strange sensation. And when I went to the toilet, I was all wet and really uncomfortable, and I'd released some wee. And I got stress incontinence from this prolapse and didn't know why. I just started to wear um, lots of pads during my work time. And after kind of a couple of years not telling anyone, the problem was getting worse and worse. It started with a small leak, and the leaks were getting more and more. And it wasn't until I went for an examination during my smear test that the lady said to me, do you know you've got a prolapse? And I said, no, what's that? And she said, well, your uterus has fallen down, so it's pressing on your bowel now. And that's why you're finding it difficult when you cough, when you sneeze, when you dance. I couldn't go jogging without wearing huge pads to soak up the incontinence. And it was really embarrassing. And I just felt like I couldn't tell anyone. And she was really sympathetic, actually. She was an amazing lady. She pointed me in the direction of some therapy. And after 6 months of therapy, the problems started getting less and less. So I would say to anybody that's dealing with these issues, please speak to somebody, because once you share that problem, the help is there. There is help. And there are support groups. There are other women to talk to that will support you. Everything's there for you. But please don't keep it to yourself, because it's not worth the anxiety and the embarrassment that that causes.
And I think from being a person, you're mentoring, aren't you? As part of your coaching, it's not
Yeah,
just someone saying, "We'll try this and do this." You're actually mentoring someone because you've had experiences of postpartum issues yourself.
yeah. Oh,
And
definitely.
so being able to actually mentor someone having been in a similar position is really valuable, because it means you can, like we were saying earlier on, make that deeper connection with people.
Yeah. It can be the difference between standing in front of a mirror and seeing your body for the first time after the baby and feeling absolutely mortified with yourself, to actually going through a journey of, first of all, just really feeling uncomfortable and embarrassed, to then a period of acceptance. And it takes compassion, it takes understanding, and it takes time amongst everything else. You're not going to wake up and overnight and suddenly feel this love for your new body. The experience I had was, it took time. And the biggest thing I can say to women in this situation is, please just have some compassion for yourself. Um, from my own experience, I was telling myself, Lisa, you're ugly now. Your body is really ugly. You've got no sexiness about you. You've lost your appeal. What's your husband going to think? How's he going to cope with this new body? I never wanted to be touched. I couldn't stand my husband to touch me on certain parts of my body, especially where I had the saggy skin, the overhanging belly. I just was so embarrassed. And these feelings are really, really strong. Um, I didn't want to go out in public and be embarrassed because I might need to go to the toilet to change my underwear at some points in my life. And this went on for years. So when I coach people, I'm very open to them having conversations with me about these issues in a very safe, caring, and non judgmental environment, because it's so important that we were able to talk about this in a way that is compassionate and understanding. Um, After the acceptance, then comes a period of embodying this new body and embracing it. And actually, this body is strong now. This body has gone through all of this stress and strain, and it's come out the other side. It's produced this amazing baby, and now it's stronger. It's got stamina. We are amazing women when we give birth, and actually finding that self love and finding that enjoyment about our bodies again, and actually knowing that, okay, it's different, but it doesn't mean that's wrong or bad. And actually, when we come to terms with these issues, we can find that things like our relationships can become stronger and they can become better. And actually, our sex lives can get back on track. We're just a bit different, but that self acceptance is absolutely key to moving on and living and enjoy a fulfilling life and relationship.
I think quite often you find as well that if the person is in a relationship, it's usually not the other half that has the issue with it. So the
Yes.
other half still sees the beauty and still,
Yeah.
can appreciate the beauty of your body being different way more than you can. So it's usually not the other person. The other person wants to feel that closeness and wants to be close to you and everything else, but it's you and the way you feel about yourself that stops that.
Yeah. Absolutely. The way we talk to ourselves has a massive impact on our self worth and our self esteem. And if we're saying to ourselves, you know, look at those baby rolls, look how fat I've become, this body is awful now. That's the way we internalize that, and that's the way we feel about ourselves. And actually, our partners don't see us like that. We don't realize we're giving ourselves this really hard time, and actually our partners just want to be part of it, and they want to love and nurture us most of the time. They don't see it. I talked to my husband about this, like, how did you feel about my body the first time you saw me after giving birth? And like, didn't feel anything. What do you mean? It was all in my head. It really was all in my head. And the longer I focused on it, the worse it became, and my mental health was really suffering. I started to clothe myself in really baggy, dowdy, dark clothes to hide it. anything above the waist was just not allowed. T-shirts that didn't cover my bottom and my waist were just like, no, a big no for me. I started to really hide away my body. I wouldn't walk around the house or anywhere near the bathroom without being covered in a massive, great big house coat. And I just kind of lost a big part of my personality. It took a long time, but once that acceptance came and once I started embracing who I was and my new body, I then started to buy nice clothes again. I started to wear makeup again. I started to wear my perfume and everything else that I used to enjoy, but I was embodying the new shape. Okay, I had to go up a size in clothing. So what? That was me now. And once I'd accepted that, I really started to shine again. And that feeling is so lovely. I can't explain that, how wonderful that feeling was to actually start dressing and getting my new identity. Actually, I won't say old because I was now a mum. My life had changed and I had changed. And actually, embracing a new identity was amazing. It changed everything. My relationship, my intimacy with my husband just soared because I was now able to go back to the confident me in the bedroom, the person that loved her body, that loved herself no matter what. And that just changed everything. Our friendship changed. Our whole relationship just absolutely was on a different dimension. So, as I say, if anybody's listening to this and is feeling like they can't cope with their new body and are struggling, please contact me because we can have this conversation. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to destroy your life.
And I think this also applies to women way down the line too.
Yeah.
If you have, and we're not just talking postpartum here, we're talking, much later on, aren't we? Because there'll be people out there that have been carrying this for
Oh, yeah.
years and years and years. I mean, we could be perimenopausal by the point you actually come to do anything, and then you've got like whole new issues again, haven't you? So it by that point, with the ladies that I coach tend to then say, I just want to be like I was before I had the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, this is a really great opportunity to create a new person. Like, why go back and try to be something you've already been when you can be something like amazing that's different to that, And
Yeah.
that's where that comes in, and I assume that's where you then help ladies to rebuild into something amazing but different, not the same as you were before the kids. Because who wants to go back when you can go forward and be something
That's
extra
it.
special?
That's it. I've just turned 50 and I was just telling somebody the other day, I actually am more confident now than I've ever been in my whole life because we as women, we do have these phases in our lives. And again, perimenopause and menopause, we're only just starting to really talk about these things. Things are getting better. But when I was younger and my mum was going through this, there really wasn't the awareness that there is now. So I don't think she really was prepared for what was going to happen to her. And again, that can be so many different things. It's different ways it could go. Some people have amazing menopause, they don't see any changes. Well, for other people, the change can be very immense and quite traumatic. And again, we are getting better at talking about this. You do see TV programs about it. Davina McCall's been doing some amazing awareness work over the past few years. You do see leaflets and GP surgeries, and there are support groups out, but it's still one of those things that we don't talk about enough, I think. But, at this age, there are amazing benefits to it. I've got to the point now I don't care what other people think. I just live for me. I'm not the people pleaser that I used to be in my 20s and 30s. I do things for myself and I think about what's good for me, what's good for my family. And I stop trying to be the yes person that I used to be. And that includes my body. If I'm tired, I'll have a nap. If I want to work part-time, I'll go work part-time. And it's just choices that we make about our well-being and making sure we do things for us, because 50 is a fabulous age, actually. I really love being 50. um,
Good.
I buy the clothes that I want to wear instead of buying things that I think I should be wearing. I don't care what fashion says. I don't care what the media says. I just wear what I want and I'm comfortable in them. I do the things that I want that my body's capable of doing. And actually, being premenopausal is quite a nice time. It comes with certain conditions, like I say, our hormones are playing havoc with us at this point in our lives. But hey ho, embrace it and move on and enjoy your life, because life's for living. And I think that's the biggest message. Just enjoy every day as it comes.
Absolutely. So, tell people how they can go about finding you, Lisa. I've put a thing across the bottom of the screen, and that is that's your Facebook name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is that the best place to find you if anybody wants to get in touch?
Yeah, people can DM me, send me a message, have a chat with me. If it's just a 5-10 minute chat about how they are, I'm totally open to that. I have a Facebook group called Inner Voice, and if people want to contact me, they can join the group. There is an amazing support network of ladies who are in similar situations. It's a safe space where you can talk, where you can air your views, and yeah, you can DM me from there as well.
Excellent. Well, I just think you are a breath of fresh air, my dear, because it's not often that, people can come on and speak about things from their own private perspective as well. So that alone encourages people to have a voice.
Yeah,
So that's really, really lovely.
yeah.
And thank you for coming on and speaking with me today. I can't believe that's half an hour. It's just flown by so quickly. I know I could talk all day, but I do try and ruthlessly stick to the half an hour, because it's like how long have people got in their day to listen to us? But
Yeah,
thank you so much, and I strongly encourage anybody out there who has had a baby who is feeling down on themselves to please get in contact with Lisa, even if, like she said, it's just initially for a wee chat, just to put some things into perspective. But yes, and look after yourselves and have a lovely, lovely week. Thank you, Lisa, for coming on.
thank you for having me. That was really nice to chat to you, Helen. Thank you.
Good stuff. I'll see you soon. Take care,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.